Hi, folks. Hope you're all safe in this pandemic situation. And thanks again for staying back after the first session without any break. So here we go. So right away, we'll jump into the session, containerizing performance test suite. So never mind, we gave it as Dockerizing performance test suite, but now you're seeing it as containerizing performance test suite. It is all the same. Docker uses containers, so that is why we have given the name as containerizing the performance test suite, and we'll use the tool Docker. So that is what this is intended. So you would have seen in the previous one, they have created the performance test suite. So now we'll go ahead and see how we can containerize it and run it from our machines. So moving to the agenda for this session. Yeah. So we have a varied audience here. So few of us would have known what is container or what is Docker or what are other container runtimes that we have. So few of us would be new to the term called containers, how we can do it, why we should do it. So all those questions are happening. So rather than directly jumping into the concept of containerizing our test suite, we'll go with the basics of containers and Dockers, so that we'll get an understanding of how it is done, and then we'll start writing the code for Dockerizing it. Yeah, so that is first agenda, and then we can see how to containerize your application. Here, maybe end of this session, you might get an idea of how to containerize any of your test suite, not only performance test suite for that matter. For any Dockerizing things, we can have this. And also, of course, the main focus here of the session, so the containerizing the performance test suite. So this is the agenda. So now we'll get into why do we need to containerize our performance test suite. So mostly it is like I've heard a saying that it is truly write once and run anywhere. So that is the main advantage of containerizing your test suite. So all that we need is just write your Docker file or anything at once, and you can run it anywhere. You just need that code there, and that is the main advantage. And also the replication of the setup, that is like super important. So how quick we can replicate our setup, and in each environment, we might have different environments like dev, QA, beta, staging, all those. So how we can replicate our setup. So, and that too, it should be in very lightweight manner. We cannot run our VM everywhere, and we cannot do it in that way. So that is like another advantage of containerizing your. Of course, all of us would be running the CI, right? So for CI, obviously we would package it, run it as a container there. So in that way, we'll be having this particular step, containerizing step, very important. So also it will be useful for us to separate the non-dependent steps, and we can run them in parallel as well. That is again a huge one. And also, when you containerize a particular thing, you will have an isolated and a segregated resources for you, so that you will ensure that it has its own resources, and from the other containers, there will not be any shared resources between the containers. This is one. And also, maybe, yeah, you would have seen in many places, like in our workplace itself, we would have seen arguments going in like, hey, it is working in my system, why is it not working in yours? Obviously it would have heard, mostly between devs and QAs, it is very often. So recently we got this one meme from one of our very own QA. So we thought we'll use it here. So obviously you would have seen this in many of the social media sites, where it is saying it works on my mission. Okay, if it works on your mission, it is not working, then let me ship my mission. That is not possible every time, right? So yeah, that is how the Docker was born. So this is how this is just the basic information that we wanted to give you. So now I'll give it to Satya to talk about how to containerize and virtualization, all those things. Over to you, Satya.
Thanks, Ravi. So before moving into the session, like how to Dockerize an application, let's see like how this concept emerged, and what is virtualization, and why we came over from virtualization and moved to containerization and all. So as we all know, virtualization is like something that does not exist physically. So rather than having something as an actual version, like having something virtual. So why we go for virtualization in the sense, like if we want to run different VMs on the same machine, or if we want to run many applications on the same computer or server, we'll go with the concept virtualization. How this will works in the sense, we'll be having an infrastructure. So that could be your laptop, desktop, or else even if you want, you can have it a cloud infrastructure as well, and host operating system. If any operating system that is running on your machine, and the hypervisor. So hypervisor is nothing but it's just a software that could manage all the VMs that is present in your machine. So that manages the VM here. So let's consider this machine is having 3 VM, and each VM is having its own OS, which is guest OS. That could be a different from the host OS as well. And we'll be having an app1 running in the VM1 and app2 in VM2 and app3 in the VM3. So if I want to run application 1 in the VM1, I need to have the required binaries and libraries that supports that application. So if I want to run the same application in the VM2, I should need the same kind of setup in the VM2 as well. And if I'm having a number of VM, and if I want to do the same, I should do the same as well in all the VM. So that might take a lot of efforts and lot of memory consumption, and even the process would be slow, like when we have a number of VMs. So this is how the virtualization works, and this will reduce the number of physical servers. So moving to the containerization, why we go for containerization in the sense, if we want to run any application in an isolated environment, we can go for that. And how that will works in the sense is like you'll be having a same infrastructure, host operating system, and this LXC is the Linux container, so that will support the in the Linux machine. So if you are having some other operating system, Mac OS or Windows, in Mac OS you need to have Hyper-V VM, and if it is a Windows, you need to enable Hyper-V. So we have a installation documentation for that. We'll share you at the end of the session. You can go for that, and if, based on your OS, you can like install all the containers in that. And on top of that, we have containers running. So app1, so it's a container in which an application is running, and it is having a binaries and libraries in it. And this is app2 and the same set, and this is app3, for which also you need to maintain binaries and libraries for that. So the main difference between virtualization and containerization is like, here it's completely isolated, and we don't, like, each VM will not communicate each other. But here, if you see, it's just a process level isolation. And here, if you see, each VM will have its own OS, but here it's not like that. And one more thing is like, if you are going with the virtualization and if you are building any framework in your machine, then if there is any small change, it requires a lot of effort to implement that and deploy. But in container, it requires a small effort. So this is how virtualization works, and this is why we need to move to containerization. Yeah. So then moving to next. So container runtime. So just a software that maintain all the containers in your machine. So we'll, as you all know, we are going to Dockerize an application. So we are going with the Docker tool. But in market, we have some other like many container runtime tools that is available. So these are the jungle for container runtime. So if you see Firecracker, Singularity, these are all the tools that is available. If you want, you can go with that as well. So moving to next. So before Dockerizing, we should understand few terms. So like image, container and all. So like before moving that, let's see like what is an images and what is container is. So image is just a snapshot. So consider it's a Debian, it's a base image, it's just a snapshot which contains a lot of comments in that, which is a read-only. And on top of that, we have Java. So Java is also a machine. Java is also an image. On top of that, Tomcat is running. So if you want to run any image, we call it as a container. So this is a container and this is a container. So if we run any image, we'll call it as a container. So container will share the kernel of the host OS. So if we want to run anything, that will share the host OS kernel. So this is what images and container is. Yeah. So if you have any questions, please post in the Q&A, we'll answer that. Yeah. So how Docker works. So this is the complete architecture of the Docker. So Docker is like a client server architecture. So it contains 3 components. One is client, another one is host, in which you'll be having a Docker daemon, which is a machine running in that, and registry. Registry is like a service which where you will maintain all the images. So registry can be private or else it could be a public as well. So client, you can have like a terminal which user use to interact with the Docker daemon, and Docker daemon accept the request and accept the API HTTP request, and it will process that and send the result to the user. And registry is a like as we seen is a hub where we store the images. So let's see these three commands and how this will function. So I'm giving docker build followed by the image name and the file path. So if I give that in the terminal, see that purple color. So this will, if the user enters that command in the CLI, Docker daemon, it sends the request to the Docker daemon. Docker daemon will accept that request, and based on the name and the path where we mentioned, it will build the image in the local. So if you give this, and Docker daemon will accept and build that image in the local machine. And if you give Docker pull, so daemon will accept that request. If you see this orange color, Docker daemon will accept that request, and it will check in the registry. So if that image is present in the hub, it will pull that image and it will put that in your local machine. Similarly, if you give Docker run, see that green color dotted line. So Docker run will run that image as a container. So as we already see, image is a snapshot. If we run that image, that will run as a container. So if I give that image Docker run image name, daemon will accept that request and it will check for the image in the local. If that is present, it will run that image as a container. So this is the complete architecture, how Docker works, and this is the flow of the commands. Yeah. So let's see a few examples of how it will function. Yeah. So to check the, so here if you see Docker is running, Docker daemon is running in my machine. So I'm giving Docker images. So this will list down all the images that is present in your local machine. So here I'm having Node and Jenkins as an image here. So Hello World is another image that is present in the hub. If you want, you can also check in the hub as well. So this is the link towards the hub. If you search Hello World here, you can find that. So this is an image that is found in the hub. So I'm going to give that command here. Docker run hello. So this is a simple thing and which will run very fast. So meanwhile I'll show you the containers as well. So for checking the container, this is the command docker ps for this will show the containers that is running. And Docker PS will show all the PSA will show all the containers that is in your machine. So I am having nothing in my machine. So I'm giving Docker run hello world. So it's first checking in my local. So it couldn't find that image because when you see earlier, Node and Jenkins is the only images that is in my machine. So it's pulling from the hub. So this is just a print statement that is present inside that hello world. So if you check here, Docker client connected to the Docker daemon. So I'm giving the request Docker run hello world. That will send the request to the Docker daemon. Docker daemon will accept that and it will pull the image from the hub and it will execute that image as a container and it will send back the result to the client, I mean to the user. So this has completed it. The image successfully ran. So if you check here, Docker ps -e, see, you can see the container that has ran. So this is the work how an image and container works. And if you want to check the information of that image, you can also go with the Docker. You can also go with Docker inspect followed by the image name. So this will list down all the information of that image. So this is if you want to check any information of that image, you can also check for this command as well. Moving to next.
Cool. Yeah, so whatever that you've seen now is like a basic of Docker. You can pull whatever that was there in the existing repository and you can very well start off your work. So now for our own thing, like how can we get started? So our images are not present in the Docker Hub, right? So we wanted to create our own image. So for that, how to get started? So first thing is the Docker file. So what is a Docker file? So Docker file is nothing but it is just a text document. So if you see there is no extension to it, it is just a text document where we'll have series of commands which is used to assemble your image. So while getting the demo, you will see how it is being done. So just for understanding, it is just the document where you will have like series of commands, that is all. So once you build the Docker file, it will create an image. So image is nothing but the snapshot of the container. So image will have all the necessary things that is necessary for your application to run. So that is just the image that will have. So now after we run the image, it will run it as a container. So in Java world or in OOPS world, object is nothing but an instance of a class, right? So similarly, container is an instance of an image. So if you run an image, it will start a container. So all that we are going to do now for the demo part is like we'll create a Docker file, we'll build it to a Docker image, and then we'll run it so that it will run it as a container. That is all is required for us to containerize our application. So maybe we'll get started with the demo. Yeah.
So in the previous session, Abdul and Ram has shown us the API that was built by our own. So let's see like how to Dockerize that. Then we can move to the Gatling. Yeah, so we have API framework that is built by our own. So I'm moving towards that. So I'm going to create a Docker file inside that framework. So this should be the naming for the Docker file. So file is created inside that. So we have seen already, if I want to create any image, it should have a base image. So if we want to write a Docker file, we should start with the base image. So we are giving a Node Alpine as a base image here. And we have to set the working directory. So I'm setting app as a working directory. So inside which this all codes will be copied inside the app. Then I'm going to copy the package.json. So we'll be having package.json and package -log.json. So I'm going to copy that both. So I'm giving package. Yeah, so why I'm giving // is like I'm going to copy this both inside the app, inside the current working directory. Then I'm going to run npm install, which will install all the dependencies that is mentioned in the package.json. Then I'm going to copy the entire code to the current working directory. Then I'm going to give the command that will start the that needs to execute it. So node server.js is my command. Yeah, since it's API that is exposed in your machine, so we have to give the port. So we have already mentioned that inside the code itself. So I'm not giving that here. If you want, if we are not exposing the port in the code itself, then you can give that over here as well. So you can do that as well, but we already did that. So I'm not giving that part here. So this is how we need to write the Docker file. So we should start with the base image and we need to set the working directory and then we have to copy. So here you can see we have copy package.json separately and the entire code separately. So why, or else we can give this as well. Like we can always copy all the thing into the working directory. Why we are differentiating here in the sense, so we don't change dependencies like often. So if we give this for the first time, it will run all the comments that is mentioned in the Docker file. And if you run, like if you build for the second, third time, it will like execute based on the changes. So if there is no changes in the dependency, it will directly go with the line 5 and it will start executing from that. So this is how we need to write the Docker file and we need to build this Docker file. So in the previous thing, Ravi mentioned that we have to write a Docker file. If we build that Docker file, it will create an image. So if you check here, Docker images, since we run hello world, I'll be having this 3 thing alone. So now I'm going to run the Docker file that is created inside this. I'm going to build Docker build -t, which will give, here we have to give the image name. So I'm giving app image followed by dot. So in the current working directory, I need to we need to create the image here. Yeah, so it's sending the request to daemon and it is processing. So here each command will execute and it will create multiple layers. So this is the layer of images.
Yeah, so for folks who are wondering why the base image is Node Alpine, so that is nothing but an server that is written on Node platform. So that is why it is Node, we have chosen the Node Alpine image. So Alpine is again a lightweight Linux distribution image that we are using here. So yeah.
Yeah. So I have already added node in my machine. That's why it runs very fast. So if it was delayed, and like it will pull the node first, and then it will build an image. So if you check Docker image now, yeah, app image is created. So I already told you, like we have already exposed that to 8019. So if you check that now, it will not work. So if you see, it will not work because that port is exposed inside the container and not in your local machine. So we need to give Docker run and we have to port that thing. So Docker, this is the command to port forward, and Docker run b. So 809. So this is the port in which I should get in my local machine. And this is the port number for which that is already exposed inside the container. So I'm giving the same thing followed by the image name. So you can see server is running and it's connected to DB. So if you check again here, yeah, it's start function. So this is how to Dockerize the application. So using this, let's see how to Dockerize a Gatling. Over to you.
Sure, Satya. Cool, folks. Now we have seen. Okay, so can you all see my screen, Satya?
Yes, Ravi.
Cool. So you're seeing my item, right?
Yes.
Because just to get it confirmed. Yeah, cool. So yeah, folks. So now we have seen whatever in the previous section. I mean, in the previous session, we have seen Abdul showed in the Postman. Everything he did it in the local host. So now we have containerized it. I have the same thing here. So when I give Docker images, you can see I have app image, Maven, and Node. I'll come to Gatling image because I've already built it and kept it in my local. I don't want to waste your time also. So it is already present in my system. So now let me go ahead and create the Docker file for this. So yeah, so this is done. So now let me go ahead and open my Visual Studio Code. I have Gatling test demo. So this is exactly the same thing. So whatever in the previous session Abdul showed the demo, we have used the same code. So it is built on Scala and it has the same Gatling test code. You can see under test, we have taken one particular piece. So in under test script, we can see we have player simulation. So this is all that we need. So here you can see rather than hard coding the URL, I'm getting it as an environment variable. I'll tell you the reason for doing this while writing a Docker file. So let's start from our very own from command. So here for running, you would have seen for running a Maven command, we need Maven Gatling. I mean, for running this Gatling test, we need Maven space Gatling test. So which means I need a Maven image. So for a Maven image, I need, there are like so many Maven image. How can I choose it? So from the Docker Hub, I've searched it for Maven. I am getting a Maven result here. And you can choose from list of things available here. I'm choosing the latest ones here. Maybe you can directly go to tags and you can see latest OpenJDK, everything will be present. Let me take one particular thing. So I'm taking this image. So, and I'm pasting it here. So this is my base image, which has a Maven and OpenJDK platform. So this is done. So now I'm going and now my base image is done. I'm going to set my work directory. The same thing I'm going to set as app. So work directory is set. Now I'm going to copy my entire code, which means dot represents whatever is there under this particular directory. I'm copying it and I'm copying it to the directory. Done. This is all that we need. So now we can, I'm going to give run npm install, I mean nvm install. This is because every time for even for a Maven to run, it will pull the dependencies. So if the image is built already, it will just pull whatever dependencies that is needed for the Gatling and not the entire dependency that was there for other things. That is why I'm giving MV and install upfront. And I told you I have given it as an environment. Why? Because this is a container and it is not a local host where we are running the app. So we need to inform this container that, hey, Gatling container, your server is running in app container, which is running in a name called app. So you can right away point it to that particular container and your port is exposed as 8019. So you might change it in the future. No one knows because we are prone to change our codes, right? So that is why rather than hard coding in the code, we are going to pass it as an env in the Docker file itself. So it takes in a key value pair. So I'm giving it as URI and I'm going to give http://app:8019. So this is done and our final command. So we can give it as an executable or a normal command itself. So I'm going to give it as a normal command. So this is the command, the same command that Abdul had given earlier. That is what even I'm giving. So I'm saving it. So now this is done. So very first thing, I need to run my app. So I have this in my app API folder. So I told you I've already built the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it. So you can see I'm going to run it with a name called app. So you can see that run hyphen name app. What does this mean? So this is nothing but I'm specifying a name for the container that I'm running for this particular image that I've built already. If you do not give this hyphen name app, it means, I mean, what Docker will do is it will create its own name and it will put it as a container. It would be very tough for us to kind of track it, right? So that is why I'm explicitly giving the name for it. So I'm going to run it. Cool. So you can see the server is running on 8019 connected to database. Now my server is running. You can see here Docker PS. So you can see this is a container ID for this particular image and the name is app. Cool, right? So we have started our container for the app. Now we didn't build the image for the Gatling one. So I'm giving build -t Gatling image will be the name and dot. So there is one thing. So why should we give always dot? It is not required though. So what dot means is the context. So I am building the context from my present directory. So if it is present in some other directory, we can go to that particular context and we can give it here. And also you would wonder like, I haven't mentioned the Docker file. How is it picking that particular Docker file? That is an inbuilt feature in Docker, but it is not always necessary to give the Docker file with the name Docker file itself with D caps and F small. It is not at all required. If you're going to change the Docker file name, you have to give like -f and you'll have to force the Docker file name here. So in this way, you can give your own Docker file. Maybe in my use case, I might have two Docker files, one to run in my local, so that I would have named it as dockerfile.local. And for one thing to run it in my CA or in my other environments. So in that case, when you're building the Docker file, you can directly give the file name and you can run it. But now I'm not going to do it. I'm just building it with this. So now you can see Maven is already pulled and now it is running the npm install. So you would know that Maven is kind of a dependency manager where it downloads all the dependencies, right? So this might take some minute or two. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, we can answer those. We'll utilize this time for that. Else we'll have to wait for this Maven thing to do its job. No other go. So once this is run, it will actually run the, since we have given the command also, it will run the Gatling test there itself. So maybe I can show you the container. It would have spun up the other container. So you can see that this is the app image and this is the container that it is creating. That is why the image is not given here. So it is pulling and it might take some time. Yeah, I think it's quite fast today. So again, another workaround. Some of you might think that why should I wait for all these dependencies to get downloaded? Is there any workaround? Yes, it is. So what you can do, if you'd have run it in your local already, you would know that it will be there in your M2 folder, right? .m2 folder. You can very well mount it and do it. And other possible ways, of course, packaging it. In Scala, there is a little workaround to package, not like a regular Java one. MVN package will not give you the jar though. So in Scala, you will just have to put some plugins and you will have to jar package it. And then you can use the jar and we can run it so that you can avoid all these dependency downloading thing. Is there a question? Okay. Okay, I see one question. Can you show me the life cycle of Docker again? Of course we can. We'll utilize this time and show it. So within, okay, sorry if I'm spelling it wrong. So this is, if you're mentioning this, please, or if you want to explain this again, maybe we can.
We can do that.
Okay, so this is the life cycle of the Docker. So it is just three simple things. You'll have to build it, pull it, run it. If build is used when you are creating your own image, pull is like something you have created an image, and if you have pushed it to the Docker registry, you can very well use pull and run it. And run. So obviously, if you build an image, it is just an image that is there in your local cache. It will be there. It is not something that it will run. So you will have to run it. So that is why we have given this.
And while building, we have to mention, if you are not into the Docker file path, you have to mention the file path as well.
Yeah, right. So if you want, yeah. So this is a simple client server architecture, as Satya mentioned. Just give a command, Docker daemon does the rest. That is all. So let's see your Maven. Okay, cool. It is done. So we can see that the Maven has run and it has completed its, it has built the image. So all that time it was just building the image. We can see the images now. It is already done. So now I'm going to run it. So I'll see. So yeah, in the beginning we've seen the older image has gone to none. So the newer image that we have built has come to Gatling image. So now, as I said, I'm going to run it. So now the other thing, I'm going to link it. So you cannot directly run the Gatling image, because if you would remember, while creating a Docker file, I told that we are going to link it to the this particular container. So this container name is app. So that is why I'm giving -- link app, and I'm giving the image name. So now it will again start running the Maven Gatling test command. So again, it will pull the dependency. Since it is Maven, it will go and look for the pom.xml. In pom.xml, that Gatling test will be there, and Gatling test will start fetching its own dependencies, and that is what it is building now. Okay. So since we don't see any questions as a regular thing, it is either you're following us or you're not following it from the beginning, or yeah, you're getting whatever we have told. Cool. So now you can see registering current configuration as fallback safe point. Cool. Now in any time it should start running. Yeah, you can see this is the host that we have given, and the simulation has started, and I've created just one, so it has become okay. So you can see the same report that whatever we saw it in the previous session, it was run it in our local machine, but here we have achieved it in a container. So there is a report generated here. How will you fetch it? That is another drawback, right? So Abdul showed you right away from his machine, but here if you see the container now, only app container is running. Where is the Gatling container? From where you will get the report? For this, you will have to mount the volume, or you will have to make this container run till you're done, and then you will have to hard stop it. So to avoid all these things, there is an orchestrator tool. Maybe I'll come there. So before that, let me stop this container so that we can do it there. So I'm going to stop this container, Docker stop. So Docker stop followed by the container ID will stop the particular running container. So that is this command. So let it stop. Meanwhile, yeah, we'll go to another tool called Docker Compose. So what is a Docker Compose? So Docker Compose is a native tool, orchestrated tool by Docker, where you will be able to create and manage containers with just one command. So like Thanos, you will have a snap of, he snaps his finger and everything goes away, right? Similarly here, with just one command, you can bring up a container and you can bring down the container as well. So that is what Docker Compose is. If you imagine what Docker Compose is actually, it is nothing but a YAML file where you can write a programmatic way to bring all your services and manage it however you want. So that is why the octopus is there. It has 8 different hands or whatever you call, and you can bring so much of containers to it. And it doesn't mean that only 8 containers you can bring it. If your machine is capable enough, you can bring even more containers. So in our case, what we are going to do is we are going to have a Docker, we are going to write a Docker Compose file where we'll write an app, we'll write the one container for app, one service for Gatling, and we'll see how everything that we have done so far can be compressed in a single file itself. So this is the Docker Compose. So now to write the Docker Compose, I'm going into another folder, Docker demo. Cool. So here I'm creating a Docker file. I mean Docker Compose. So for a Docker Compose, your naming should be in the exact same way, docker-compose.yaml. So I've created a Docker file. I mean a Docker Compose file. Now let me go ahead and open the Docker demo. So this is where I've created a Docker Compose YAML. So you can see the Docker Compose YAML is there. So now like we start, so what is the intent here? Let me reiterate it. In our earlier demo, we wrote one file for app, one file for Gatling test demo, and we kind of built the image. After the image is built, we ran it. So how many sequence of steps was happening? So how do we do it in just one thing? This is just in single API and single Gatling test. What if your application contains multiple microservices? You have like 5 to 6 microservices. You can't do this for every single service, right? It is going to kill your time. So how we can leverage this Docker Compose.yaml file and how we can kind of run it in a single command. So that is what we're going to show it now. Okay, so here it starts with the version. You'll have to tell the Docker Compose what version it has to run. So I'm saying version 3 followed by services. So services is where you will have to give the name. I'm giving it as app. So this is just the service name and nothing else. So next is build. So let me come here. So build. So what is this build? If you have an image present in your Docker registry, you can directly give images rather than build. You can directly give images and you can give the image from the Docker hub. But since we are building the Docker image from our own directory, I'm going to give it. But I'm present in Docker demo folder. But for the app for me to enter this API, I need to go inside this API folder, and there is where the Docker file is present. So how will I do it? I'm going to set the context. So what context is like? I'm // obviously you would have known, it would have gone one layer above. So one layer above would have taken me to the API. So I'm giving API /. This is all you need. So now when it comes here, the context would shift it to this API folder, and inside which you have a Docker file. So at that time it will bring it. So now I'm going to give the command. What command do I need? Node server.js. That is all. So next one, I'll have to say command should
In
come
this
here.
case, while writing the Docker file, we would have seen like in the Docker file itself, we have written a command node server.js. But again, here we are giving, so this will overwrite that.
Yeah, cool. So now you can see I'm exposing 8019 because there we have linked the container and we have told that, hey, this is what your thing is. But here we are exposing it explicitly. So now this is all that we need for our app container to come up. That is all we need. So now Gatling, I'm giving my Gatling test demo as Gatling. So now the same thing I'm repeating here, build context, where I'll have to enter the Gatling test demo folder. So I'm giving Gatling test demo slash, that is all. Now I'll have to give the command. What is the command? The same command that we have given in the Docker file. Let me pull it up. Yeah. So this is the Docker, this is the command that we ran there. So now here, how are we passing the environment? We have an name called environment where we can say URI colon followed by the name. So we can say app colon 8019. Cool. So now you have set the URI. So one advantage of doing this Docker Compose is, I mean, one of the advantage I would say. So earlier we have seen after our Docker Compose, I mean the Docker container for Gatling had run, we did not get the report. We did not have the opportunity to see the report. So how can I do it? How can I mount whatever is there in my container to my host machine? So for that, we have a thing called volumes. So in volume, all that I can do is I can say uh, dot slash means in my current Docker demo folder, create a folder called reports. And in my container, I have set the working directory as app, and you will get the, let me show you this. So when you run the Docker Gatling test, you will get your report under target Gatling, under which you will have folders like this. So I'm saying mount entire the target Gatling folder to my local, which is running in my container to my local machine. So that is what this means like. So we'll just have to give this. So now we have mounted the volume. So what else? Now you would have had a question. Okay, hey, earlier in my earlier case, I ran my app first. So I definitely know that the app had run. But here, since you're running at everything in a single file, how will Docker Compose or how will Gatling know that the app is run? Because unless the app container is run, you will not be able to hit the server, right? So for that case, we have something called depends on. So depends on, I'm giving the container name. So the container name is app. So which means I'm saying, okay, unless app container is started, do not start the Gatling container. So this is all we need. So you can see I've given version, services. Under services, I have given 2 services. I have built the context, which will build the Docker image, and it will run this particular command. And here it is exposing. In the similar way, in Gatling, I'm exposing the environment, I'm mounting the volume, and I'm saying run only after it is running. So this is all we need for Docker.
Yeah. One thing, like while Ravi writing this Docker Compose YAML file, he is very careful about the indentation. So the spaces here is very important. So if that is like missing, then there will be definitely an error.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Satya. We would have seen how a small say for us a space is nothing but a space, but for a YAML file, space is like a big difference it will make. So if you do not indent properly, then gone case. We'll have to hit our head on our wall and find out what is the reason. So let's not do that. So we'll just have the proper indentation and we'll work. Even I do not know if I have made some mistake now. We'll see if it is running properly. So you will have to give Docker Compose up hyphen build. This particular command you should be giving where your Docker Compose file is present. If you're giving it from some other location, it will say, hey, where is your Docker Compose file? It will throw an error. So I'm going to build it. So now you can see the very first thing, it is building the app. So here maybe I'll put Docker PS. Yeah. So it has started running everything. So ideally we should see, I'll put a watch here so that we not put the command everything. So one of our container is up. So now we can see both the things will be coming. So this will again download all the dependencies and it will actually pull it. So you can see, right, it is just one command, docker compose build -d. That is all that we need, nothing else. So again, the Maven thing is happening now. It is pulling all the dependencies. So folks, like, I don't see any questions here. So we assume you're following us till now. If not, please feel free to ask even minor doubts or whatever that you have, or if you have tried something in your projects, you're not getting it, things like that. We'll also learn with you or learn from you, or you wanted to share something, even that is also that will also be helpful for us. So you can see here, both the containers started. So one is the app, the Docker demo Gatling and Docker demo app. So it has started and we can see it is doing its own thing. So this is cool thing, right? Like you can just pin up this in multiple things and you can run it. So one other thing, maybe you would have had a doubt like this, I'm doing it in my local, why should I do it here? I can just run my server node server.js in my local machine, run my Gatling test from my terminal. Why should I go for this? So again, the resource that you utilized there and utilized here will be a vast difference. And also, I'll show you another advantage here. You will be able to scale up a particular container a multiple way in just another command itself. So all these will help you to. So I personally, in my project experience, I can share that. So we wanted to achieve a distributed load testing. I wanted to do it in Kubernetes in an actual cluster. Will I be able to perform things there? No, right? Because we cannot play around in our actual cluster. It might break some things there. So for us to play around with actual one, we can very well utilize this and we can do. So coming back, we can see it has passed, it has success. So now we can see that it has been saying that the report is there under this particular folder. Since we have mounted it, we can see here in the Docker demo folder, there is this reports. It automatically came in here and we have this index.html. Let me open this. So let me put it for you. Cool, right? So I was opening it from my local machine, and whatever was there in the container, it came into my local machine. Similarly, vice versa. If I wanted to push something, rather than building it every time, I can mount the volume alone, so that it is two-way process. Whatever I do it here, it will be reflected there. Whatever that is there, it will come here. So that is how it is. So now that we have done this, you can see the container is not at stopped because we still have one of the app container running. because app container is kind of a continuous one. It will not stop unless we explicitly stop. So since it is running, I'll show you another one. So I wanted to run this Gatling test for multiple containers or multiple instances. How can I do it? So there is a command called docker compose scale Gatling2. This Gatling is the container name or the service name. You can see here, right, in the docker compose YAML, I've given the service name as Gatling. So that name, I'm going to give it in my docker compose. I'm giving with the scale command and I'm giving the number. If I wanted to scale it to number 100, I can just give 100. I'm not going to do it. Then total, my machine will be crashed and I'll be responsible for it. So I'm not going to do 101. I'm going to just give 2. So when I do this right, you can see, okay, there is something wrong here. Okay, I'm in a different directory. So I told you, right, I'm doing this from a doc API folder. So it will not see that docker compose YAML is not there. So let me go to this. I'm going to give docker compose scale. So once this is running, you can see here, it will start. You can see the logs here. You can see here, right, Gatling 1 and Gatling 2. Two things are started. And do not worry, you need not have a track of it, because since we have mounted a volume, you can see multiple reports coming up here. I'll show you that as well. We have another 5 minutes before we wrap up. So maybe I can show you this as well. So you can see Gatling 1 is done. Gatling 1 has run and it has showed, and the file name of this will be ending with 2063. So we can see we have 2 files here. How can I expand it? Oh, yeah. So you can see this is 1 and this is my latest 2063. So this is report was also mounted here. And in the similar fashion, once the Gatling 2 is done, so it is about to be done. So I can show you this. So app is run and build is success. You can see the name, the report name is 3880. So I'll have to refresh this.
You can ls2 ls insurance.
Okay, it is here. So you can see it is here, 3880. So all the 3 reports, you can bring it here. So if you wanted to run a distributed load, why I say distributed load is because each container will have its own IP. So which means it is kind of a different location where it is kind of sending the event. So you can do this in a different way. In Gatling, you would say that, okay, hey, I am running 100 loads in different container. I am running 10 different containers. It is kind of 1000 load. How can I aggregate it? That particular feature in Gatling is present only for a paid version. But in JMeter, we have a particular image called Winch Docker, where you can try the master slave configuration. So with the master slave configuration, you can there will be one master and there will be multiple slaves that you can spin up. So all the aggregated report of the slaves will come to the master and you can just view the master report. So since we have already shown you Gatling, we have taken the Gatling report and Gatling test suite, and we are showing this. So I think this is all we had. So scaling is done, and now everything we can run it with a single command. So I think that is all we have planned for the session, and we are almost on time as well. Any questions? I don't see questions so far. Okay. How can I perform operation on a container when there is no UI? Okay. Okay. So you can execute into the container. So let me open you let me see if I have a container. Let me run the Docker thing. Docker run app image. So let's assume this app image is kind of your where you are running the DB thing, let's say MongoDB, right? So, or a PostgreSQL, if that as a container. So you can execute into it and you can bash it and you can do all the commands there. So how you can do it is, you can see Docker PS. This is the container ID, Docker execute with the container ID. and you can do it. So here you can, you will be having access to the DB. You can open you can perform all the PSQL or MongoDB operations in using this exec command. So I hope, yeah, obviously there is no UI, you will have to do it. So you might have a question like, how can I enter into a Gatling? Because once after my execution is done, it gets finished, right? It gets executed. I will not be able to bash it into it. So in that case, either you can have I mean, never ending process like tailing something, tailing a null command. So tailing tail -f/null will tail you forever. So unless you stop it, it will not done. So why the Docker Gatling thing is getting exited? Because I'm asking it to run a Gatling test. It has run. So its work is over. So that is why it is getting exited. So you will have to do it in that way. So I think that is how we can bash it into a particular container. Cool. Anything else? Okay.
Can we just have a minute for answering one last question, if at all we have any, and then conclude the session?
Okay. Let me put this thing.
Ravi, we have a question.
Oh.
So it is in the chat actually. Is Dockerizing the application safe? And what are the security measures one needs to take before choosing the Docker image?
Okay. Interesting question. Rather than we answering it, I think we have Ramki, our SecChamp. So maybe he can answer this better.
Thanks, Ravi. Okay. Security for Docker is a totally a broad scope of category. I think I won't be able to answer within a minute, but choosing, to give quick hints, choose only images given by verified by the Docker registry, or given by the Docker registry itself. Don't go for unknown public sources. Just go for only the trusted sources. That is the shortest thing while choosing a Docker image you can do, and also choose a minimalistic image. For example, even in the demo, Ravi was using an Alpine image rather than a Debian version. In Linux, there are a lot of flavors. Choose an Alpine one that will be a smaller size to reduce the footprint. And I think there are there are a lot of things to secure Docker as well. So these are the very basic things.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Ramki. So yeah, to add on to that, obviously we'll have to do our groundwork before choosing an image. Like if you're going for Maven node, it is like an official trusted ones, right? So rather than like how we choose a dependency. So when we choose a dependency, we go and see for any vulnerabilities is present or not, right? So similarly, we can very well choose for the images as well. How do we monitor the CPU and usage of the container? Okay. So we have inspect command where we can see the things present.
Information of all the images. So we can check in that.
So I think we answered that as well. Or I think you can also we have a statistics as well. Maybe we can use that. Docker stats should also do it. Docker stats followed by which container we are trying to see. We can use that and we can see all the things like this. Cool. I think, okay. What is there?
Yeah, I think that's it for the tea, right? Anything else? Okay, so